It is. Circular economy has been playing a bigger part in Chinese economy, and under the umbrella called green economy or green economic transition, China is the world's largest producer of many industrial products and consumer products there as well. That means China needs and continuously large quantity of materials, resources to feed into this economic industrial machine. And if you look at the volatility of the large commodities around the world, on one side we do have the environmental pressures in terms of damaging the nature, mining the land, the ecosystems there. On the other side, actually, if you look at emissions in the production process, not only carbon emissions, but also other pollutants damaging people's health and environmental health as well. So cost is also a big challenge for materials overall. So China has developed over the last couple of decades something called the circular economy, putting that as a major part of the national strategy to recycle. And mostly divided by two fronts, actually. On one side is the industrial, the circular economy. On the other side is household and particular consumer products there. I think a lot of agenda or campaigns have been rolled out in China in terms of connecting the dots and closing the loop. So the cases you just saw actually in Shanghai is just one particular case actually around the waste glass recycling. If you look at metals, plastics and tins, all the other stuff actually, the country definitely has been progressing very impressively in terms of really closing the loop of the material flows. As I said, on one side is definitely it's already an economic part of economic growth, and the other side is definitely benefiting the environment and ecology ecosystem there as well.
As you say, progressing, but what else can China be doing to protect the environment, do you think?
I think overall, roughly maybe there were three major focuses at this moment. The first one is pollution control and prevention. So China today hasn't really addressed that yet in terms of air pollution, water pollution, among others. The second priority is really reducing carbon, which is put in the context of fighting climate change. And China has to gear up its efforts as much as possible to scale its efforts endeavor to reduce emissions. And thirdly, something we call like enhancing nature. Right? And if you look at the ecosystems there, the nature has been declining. That's threatening both the food supply, water, among others there. So those are the three major, pillars of strategy for China today in terms of protecting the environment. And of course, there are many other, opportunities actually generated through that process. So on one side, of course, we have to reduce and emissions. On the other side, we do need to create opportunities like circular economy and the decarbonization, clean energy transformation. The opportunities there as well.
It's not just China, of course, it's a global problem. And of course, China and the United States have to come together on this issue. I think that's pretty clear. Did we see any real progress from U.S. climate envoy John Kerry's trip?
Short answer is no. And even though the channel remains open in terms of communication or so-called coordination among the two largest economies and the two largest emitters of carbon at this moment, but from substance perspective, we are pretty much stuck in the geopolitical rivalry there. And on one side, actually, the global community needs urgently substantive collaboration between the two countries around, R&D, industrial, value chain collaboration, among others. But somehow at this moment, it's gradually becoming a major barrier, blockage, in terms of slowing down the required acceleration of global efforts to fight climate change.